Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It is Beaky on this freezing day. Yes, I have the heat on, ridiculously cold. That's how we roll this time of year, apparently. Woo, it's horrible. So, new scent today. I know, I'm getting through these rather quickly and that's exciting to me. We're looking at Zoologist again. And we've tried two scents so far, and camel is one of them. And beaver is the last one that I tried. I will say that one really grew on me. I mean, I liked the scent, but it really got good later on. I don't know. We'll talk about that when we talk about them all again, probably. But today is a new day and a new fragrance. And so I'm going to dig in and choose one randomly. Okay. I looked down just to make sure I was reaching in the right area, but there's several. And we have beaver. Okay, take two. Yeah, for some reason they adjusted and beaver, it was on the other side and it ended up back there. There we go. So let's see, we have this time. It is Nightingale. Nightingale is the new scent that we are going to be trying today. I have no idea what to expect with this. It's kind of fun because, I mean, like certain ones, you know what the environment is going to be like. A nightingale, I just don't, I mean, is it going to be like a nest? I mean, what region? You don't know. It's not like a rhinoceros or it's not like a tiger or a panda. You know what you're getting. With the nightingale, it's a little bit exciting. So I'm interested to look at the notes. So let's check it out. All right, so now let's look at the notes of this beauty. So that is really pretty. I know they've changed the bottles. I actually prefer these bottles, but I know that it was more difficult for the owner to put the labels on, from my understanding. I love this look. But what I find interesting is just the beautiful color of the perfume, and it is indeed that color in the bottle, so it is not a lie. That's really pretty. Anyway. So it will run you $175, and it talks about, you know, what they're about, the animal itself. Very interesting. So the top notes are bergamot, lemon, and saffron. Should be interesting. I'm not a huge saffron person in perfumes, but changed my mind. Heart notes or mid notes, Japanese plum blossom, red rose, violet. Okay, nice and floral. And base notes, weed, patchouli, I just said weed, patchouli, sandalwood, moss, frankincense, white musk, and two things I don't really know, labdanum and ambergris. So I know the rest of the scent profile. Those two I'm not as familiar with, but there you go. And as usual, no animals were harmed in the making of this. It's all happy for animals. So I've not smelled this. You can actually smell it a little bit. The other two I could not smell. This I can smell a little bit. Interesting. So this is going to be a little bit more difficult. Here, we'll put it here for skin scent. And oh, we are really warm today, so I don't want it on my hair. We have plenty of room for that. The clothing. So let's start here. Ooh, hard to get it going at first, but there we go. Ooh. Whoa. Whoa, whoa. Oh, wow. So with the first burst of scent, you get a strong floral, like punch in the face floral. And then there's kind of this strange earthiness to it. Oh, wow. What is that? So you definitely get the sweetness of the plum blossom. I do know what plum blossom actually smells like because I have perfumes with it. So I do get that. I definitely get the rose. That's interesting. So we got the plum blossom, but now that's fading and the rose is coming forward. And then you do get the violet. Now it's mostly a fight for violet and rose. Very interesting. You do get the bergamot. I do definitely get that. That's also the main component. And I'm looking at some of the other ones. I don't get the, no, I don't get the lemon as much, but maybe it's adding to the crispness. I definitely don't get the saffron because I don't care for strong saffron notes. So that would not be happy for me. Patchouli. Yeah, I can smell it a little bit. I'm really not big into patchouli. I never have been. It's kind of one of those scents, and I'm like, but it's you don't get too much of it, and that's what I like. It's almost like the saffron and the patchouli that aren't notes I necessarily gravitate towards are just light sprinkle, just a little boop. Sandalwood, moss, frankincense. I don't get the frankincense. A little bit. It's interesting. So when you're looking for these notes, you can pick them out. But it's, very interesting. It's such a, this one is probably, I'm not going to say the most complex because Beaver was very much, a lot was going on. I think this is even more so. This is even more so. And I think part of it is because there's so many strong scents competing. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 things going on here in the ingredients list. And it's so interesting because it's not like a normal floral where you're like, ooh, you know, that's a lot of floral. There is a lot of floral in this. But there's something in it that is making it a little bit more earthy. There's something in there that's a little bit almost bitter now that's coming forward. There's like a bitter note, and I don't know where that bitter note is coming from. So it kind of cuts through that sweetness of the rose and the violet that I'm most definitely getting now. The plum blossom is there, but it's really fading and making way for the rose is the big one, and the violet. Very interesting. Very, let's see. Whew. It's actually very strong on clothing. Yikes. You don't get the floral as much on the clothing for me. No, it has the other scents to it. It has the other components, but on my skin, it's more floral, less floral on the clothing. Very interesting. I don't even know what to think about this. I want to say it's too cloying, but then when I keep smelling it, it's not cloying at all. It's such a, these are such a mind beep. We can't say that word. These are so unique in the way that they're presented and so have so much complexity. It's like your nose almost doesn't know where to go. It's so confused. So strange, so strange, so floral, but yet so earthy at the same time. I don't even know what half these notes, I know what they are separately, but together they really morph into something else. I will say out of all the scents, this one is very strong. Very, very strong. I could see if you put on, because normally I put on 4 to 5 sprays, and with some of these like Beaver and Camel, they didn't have a lot of, there wasn't a lot of scent coming off of it. There was not, they were not powerhouse perfumes. This is a powerhouse. I don't know how it'll do in an hour, but right now it is a freaking powerhouse. Like people will smell you coming. So we'll visit this again in about an hour. I would say this leans a little bit more feminine. Not saying that men can't wear florals. I have a friend, like I said, who wears Roseau from Aesop, or Aesop as I call it, or Aesop as I call it. They call it Aesop, and it smells wonderful on him. He just smells amazing, and especially rose. It just morphs into something that's not rose. It's just so beautiful. So you could definitely wear this. I don't see why a man couldn't, but for my preference, I would see this as being a little bit more feminine leaning than masculine. So it just depends what you're into. This one, I would say leans just a tad bit more feminine if we were to put things into categories. So there you go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait an hour because this is just, whew, it's like a big bouquet of flowers just following me everywhere. I wish I could figure out what that bitterness is. Maybe it is the saffron. I don't know. I might have to look up those two notes to see what they are, but dang, that is something. Yeah. So I will check back in an hour. All right, we have hit the hour mark, and this is beautiful. I'm going to say this about this scent. It is just, wow, gorgeous to me. Now, I think it's going to be very polarizing as a scent. The scent is still going quite strong. Interesting. It smells almost the same on the clothing as it does on my skin. So I'm finding the florals are most definitely my thing because it smells almost identical. They really do tend to stay on my skin. So this one has a high sillage. I would say it has a very high sillage. I could see how, because of that, it's very sweet. It's a very sweet scent. It is very light, but I could see if you do not care for florals, say that fast 3 times. If you don't care for florals, then it's going to be a lot and maybe a little bit cloying. And I can see how some people would be very thrown off by it and just go, it's too much. Because it really does go to a solid floral, well, not a solid floral, but it's very floral heavy. It's interesting because the violet is now coming up forward in the scent, and the rose is taking a little bit of a back seat. I get a little bit of sweet from plum. So all of that's mingling. And then on top of it, you get the oak moss for sure. The oak moss, and then something that's a little bit sharp. Not sharp because you don't smell it. It's very light. I mean, it's a very tiny bit just to give it a little bit of contrast. And I don't know if that's the patchouli or the lemon kicking through a little bit, but there's something that gives it a little something that's tart. You know, it has a little bit of a zing to it. It's almost like a bird just going whoop. You know, that's what this reminds me of a little bit. If I were to describe this, it's almost like the first real day of spring, where it's been a cold winter, but it warms up enough where the flowers are starting to come up, and it's the first warmish day, and you have like a cardigan on as a female, and you are walking through, I don't know, a park or something. It's quiet, and spring is almost there, and then there's a bird in a flower patch, tons of birds. Maybe you're in a botanic garden, I don't know, and the bird just flips out of the flowers and the scent just goes up in the air. That's what this is like. The first day of spring with the bird just kicking up off the flowers, and the scent just floats in the air and dissipates. It's so interesting. It's such a beautiful, beautiful scent. I love this. I could see how this would be a little bit basic for some people. It's not as maybe as unique as some of the other ones, but I think that this one may be more wearable. But that being said, I can see it being very polarizing as a floral. Now, I can see how some people may see this as being old. I disagree. I don't think it's an old floral. But you know what's weird about it? This is a contradiction of a scent, because I can see like a young woman borrowing this from her mom for like prom or a quinceañera or something and saying, oh, I'm gonna spray this. It's the first big like function, and they spray this on. It's just kind of like, oh, I'm so grown up. I get that. Or it's a wedding day scent. This would be so beautiful on a wedding day, an outdoor wedding, and it's just, oh, you know, smelling this. But on the other hand, there's something about it that's very vintage, but it's vintage chic kind of, where you could see this in a Victorian, you know, sitting room on a table. And there's something so timeless about this. It's vintage yet modern. I can't explain it. It's such a bizarre little scent. It's just all of those things wrapped into this beautiful scent called Nightingale. I love this. I am enjoying this so much that part of me is like ready to order this offline for spring and have my bottle ready and making this my signature scent for spring. It is so lovely. It is so lovely. I think this is the scent that you would make your own, in that people would, this isn't just a rose scent. Like, it's not just a rose scent where it's like, oh, it's rose, you know, one note. No, this is something that if you wore it daily, people, if you walked into the room and somebody's back was turned, they'd go, oh, so-and-so's here. It would be your signature scent, and everyone would know you were coming. Part of it because it's very strong. Let me put it that way. The sillage is great. It's been an hour. I think I could have gone with one spray. I did two, and whoo doggies. I think one would do ya. I do. But let's see what it looks like in 5 hours. But so far, I love this one. I love it. I love it. It's so feminine and beautiful and just conjures up so many wonderful visuals of just delicate, sweet spring days where it's just like, gosh, I'm glad to be alive. You know, it's a good day, you know, winter is wearing off, and I know, crazy, right? I want a scent that makes me feel like it's a good life. That's what I want. So maybe I will buy a bottle. We'll see in 5 hours, but love it. So yeah, I will check in 5 hours. So we are heading to the end of the day. It's about 4.5 hours. I know I keep saying 5, and for some reason 4.5 is the magic number. And we're at the end of the journey. Yes. So Nightingale. The scent is almost gone. So this one's interesting. It's very strong on application. I'm sure my reaction showed that. It was like, whoa. And then from there, it morphed into such a beautiful scent, but then it doesn't stay long. And I'm finding this to be a trend with, this brand, that they don't stay for a long time. It's like a quick visit, which I'm not always a huge fan of, only because of, if it's $175 to $210 a bottle, I want it to last all day. But everybody has a different preference. So it's very much a skin scent on my wrist, but I can definitely smell it more on my clothing. Definitely smell it more on my clothing. And it morphed a little bit. Here, it's more still of that violet, that beautiful powder. It's not really powdery, but this beautiful oak moss and violet. And on my clothing, it's interesting. It isn't. I can't quite pull out all of the notes. No, it does have the violet. I'm wrong. It does have that violet and a little bit of that sharp. There's something in it. I don't know if this is the patchouli or the lemon coming through, but something's giving it a brightness to it that I really like. And there's the oak moss and the violet, a little bit of the sweetness of plum. That's there. There's like a little bit of sweetness of plum, and just this beautiful brightness. I don't want to say sharp. It's more of bright. And I think that's what makes this unique. It's not just this vintage perfume that's like, dated. I don't think so. I think the brightness of it really makes it stand out, and the fact that the rose takes a little bit of a back seat, though some would say that violet perhaps would make it maybe a little bit more vintage. So my final thoughts. This one's great. I've been looking online at buying this. I think I really do like this one quite a bit. This may be my first purchase. There's just something about it, and I don't know what it is. I want a fragrance to take me on a journey, whatever it is. And this one does that. And it's kind of beautiful. And then I can see why some people, I was reading some of the reviews, that some will say it's very vintage, and other ones will say, no, it's very updated, or it's retro, or it's very new. It's so weird, or not strange, it's so interesting to see how different people view the same fragrance. And part of it's the chemistry on your body, and part of it's just what you like and preferences. And what this reminds me of, like I said earlier, and I was thinking about it more, is it's kind of like when you're a little girl and you go into your mom's room and you're not supposed to spray the perfume, but you do it anyway, and you're kind of hoo-hoo. It's kind of that innocence to it, and then it's kind of that for a wedding day or on a first date, it's kind of this beautiful new beginnings. That's what it is. It's spring. It's new beginnings. And something that if somebody walked in the room, if a woman was wearing this, like all eyes would be on her. It's timeless. I like timeless. And all eyes would be on her because she'd just be so fascinating. It's like, who is she type thing. I love it. It's just, I don't feel like it's too old. I feel like it's for everyone. So I do get the vintage to a degree, but I think it's updated. And I think what's interesting, even if it was for somebody who was older, it'd be kind of like a woman who's had a long life and she wears this perfume and she remembers all of her little secrets, but she's not done yet. She's not done yet because there's still new beginnings. And that's what I like about this. It just captures spring in the most beautiful way with this beautiful, flittering, beautiful bird that flitters away with all these beautiful, brief moments of just flitter, flitter. And that's what this is to me. Just leaving that trail of beautiful. And I know it's so strange what comes to mind, but that's what this scent is to me. It's just beautiful. Now I could definitely smell it on the coat more and a little bit on the wrist, but at 4 hours it's definitely becoming more of a lean in for those secrets. Come and smell me. So that's what this is more of, but dang, it's good. I think this may be my first purchase, and some people may say I'm basic for it, but I'm okay being basic if it smells this good. Boom. So I'm okay with it. I am really okay with it. If basic smells this good, damn. So I love it. I love it. This one is a big thumbs up. If I was going to rate this one, I would probably give it a solid 9. I would give it an 8.59. Yeah, this one, I don't want to get too crazy. So maybe an 8.5, and maybe I'll look at these all again at the end and re-rank. This is fabulous. And I love the pink of the perfume. It's just so pretty. It adds to the elegance of it. Ooh, it makes me feel rich, even though I'm not. Though I'm buying $175 perfume, so there you go. I got, I'm doing okay. So, yeah. So let me know what you think down below. This is number 3 of the scents, Nightingale, and we still have a long way to go, but I am so excited because Beaver and Nightingale have been quite a journey and in a beautiful way. So yeah, until next time, have a fabulous day, my friends. Bye.